Fantastic. Right, tēnā koutou katoa no mai, haere mai, and welcome to our Southern Hemisphere launch for Global Intergenerational Week 2025. I'm excited to be with you here today, wherever you're joining us from. Do you want to go to the next slide, Xanthi? My name is Karen Verney, and I am the founder and CEO of Generations Connect New Zealand. And I'm excited to be here today alongside Xanthi Galenko, who is the Secretary of the Australian Institute of Intergenerational Practice, or AIIP, and our special guest speaker today, Dr Marlene Krasovitsky, who is the World Health Organization consultant and an advocate and campaigner against ageism. So welcome to you all. We hope whether you're here to learn a little bit more about what Global Intergenerational Week is or how you can be involved with your organisation or as an individual, hopefully by the end of today's session you'll have a little bit more information to help you with that. So what is Global Intergenerational Week? So it started back in 2020, run as a national UK campaign by the St Monica Trust. Not long after their successful campaign in 2020, they handed over the leadership to Generations Working Together in Scotland, who for a year or so still had a UK-based campaign, and then it went global in 2022. And since then, it's been growing momentum, and each year more countries join that movement. And so this year, we are lucky that we have 14 countries who have signed up to be country leads and participate in that global campaign. It is normally happens annually between the 24th and the 30th of April. We are lucky, however, this year that we have had it opened up to events and activities being able to happen in the whole of April, because this side of the world in Australia and New Zealand, we have school holidays during that week. So it's always been a little bit of a challenge for people to participate over here. So it's great news that we now have the ability to have that whole month to showcase what's happening in our countries and events to take place. The purpose of it, there are many. One is just really to recognise and celebrate intergenerational practice across the globe, what is currently happening and how it's developed and growing year from year. Raising awareness of the practice and how the connections can not only benefit individuals and families and communities, but wider society, and how we can integrate them more. It is a place for global knowledge sharing, where we can create opportunities for not on a global stage, but also nationally, where we can share our best practices, our ideas, our strategies, our challenges that we come across within the practice, and how we can sort of move forward with it. On a collaboration on a global stage, we connect with other countries in a way and find out what they're doing, which is great, and we can share the vision of intergenerational work from that global perspective. And how do you get involved? Well, there's varying events and different things that you can attend, webinars online, both locally and internationally, as well as just really showcasing what you're currently doing in that intergenerational space, how you bring, or initiatives you have that bring different generations together and the benefits that they have. We have participated in the sense of spreading that message and raising awareness by utilising those webinars, like I said, but also social media. That's a growing place where you can find, with our hashtag, GIW25, what is happening around the world. Next slide, please. So here are the 14 countries that are currently signed up this year. We have a nice selection, and the organisations who are leading them. As you can see, there's quite a growing number over this side of the world as well, which is great to see, and hopefully more and more countries will get on board in the future. Next slide, please. The week is organised around daily themes to help really provide a focus and inspire discussions. And it really helps to guide, I suppose, activities and showcase the impact of intergenerational work. So here you can see that day one is all about let's raise awareness of intergenerational practice. Day two is a focus on challenging ageism. Day three, we focus on let's challenge the social isolation and loneliness factors. Day four, it's all about creating intergenerational spaces and communities. Day five, let's all save the planet together is a great focus. And then day six, let's develop intergenerational workplaces. And finishing off the week with let's look at how we can improve intergenerational quality and sustainability, which is really important moving forward. It's now time for us, and I'm excited to share and welcome Dr. Marlene Krasovitsky, who, as I said, is our World Health Organization consultant and a strong advocate for and campaigner against ageism, as our guest speaker today, and to share her insights on how the World Health Organization is supporting and advancing intergenerational practice. So Marlene, thank you.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me okay? Is that everything seems to be working? Okay. Well, look, the first thing I'd like to say is thank you very much for your kind invitation to be here. And what I would like to start off with is to say congratulations on your work. Your work is critically important. It's timely and it's increasingly understood as being central to building a future and a world that is inclusive of all ages. So again, may I thank you for your work. So as Karen said, my name is Marlene Krasovitsky and I'm from the Global Campaign to Combat Ageism. So why am I here from the combating ageism perspective? Well, the first UN report on ageism told us about the prevalence and the devastating impacts of ageism at the global level. Just two short statistics globally, 1 in 2 people are ageist against older people. And in Europe, the only part of the world where we have the data, 1 in 3 people report experiencing ageism. That's young and old people. This includes being insulted, abused, excluded, or denied services because of their age. But critically, the report gives us the evidence about what works to reduce ageism and mitigate its impacts. And there are 3 strategies. The first is policy and law, the second is education, and the third is intergenerational work. These 3 strategies are proven and powerful ways to combat ageism. And that's part of the reason I'm here. So we were involved last year in global intergenerational work for the first time. And we want to continue to promote intergenerational initiatives globally to build a world for all ages. And I know that's a vision many of us share. So, for example, one of the ways we were involved last year was if you went to our website, which is www.aworldforallages.org, you'll see there a tab on intergenerational practice and on intergenerational week. And there we put through key messages, tools, guides, social media tiles, and actions for each day of the week. What you'll also find there is a message from the Director General of the WHO, who publicly supports the importance of intergenerational work. So what we're trying to do is connect with how the members of the WHO are working on intergenerational work and really build it into their agendas and their priorities as an approach, as an enabler to address so many of the issues that we're all faced with: isolation, generational divides, climate change, digital inclusion, you name it. So as an example of that, last year there was a UN Summit of the Future, and the coordinating theme around that summit was building a future for all ages, and that was in September 2024. It really was a cornerstone of the summit, and we organised a side event, a webinar, and we included many of your colleagues, as well as other UN agencies, governments and civil society organisations, where we tried to bring to life the importance of intergenerational work as a means of getting to intergenerational solidarity. And this year, that work is going to be followed up in November, which will be the second World Social Summit for Social Development, which will be held in Qatar. And that's going to build on discussions at the Summit of the Future on intergenerational solidarity. So promoting intergenerational solidarity and combating ageism and eradicating age discrimination are increasingly being partnered as strategies to realise a society for all ages. In fact, these are the first two action points in a recent UN report late last year called Intergenerational Relations, Creating a World for All Ages so that no one's left behind. And that report was authored by the UN's 5 regional commissions that are part of the Economic and Social Council of the UN. And that's Africa, Latin America and the Caribbean, Asia and the Pacific, Western Asia and Europe. So the point of all of that is to say we have a key moment now. We have a key moment to elevate, to amplify, to escalate this work. Now, that's not to say we don't all have a lot more work to do, but this is very timely. Intergenerational work is increasingly a focus at the global level, but we want it to be a little more explicit, more integrated into this idea of building a world for all ages, because at the moment there tends to be a focus in discussions on young people alone, which is entirely appropriate, but this is not only about young people. It's for those of us who are young now, it's for those of us who are older now, it's for those of us who will be older, those of us who are not yet born, and into the future. Now, another strength and perspective that the WHO brings to this work is that the unit within which I sit supports a broader initiative called the Decade of Healthy Aging. And that's all the good stuff about healthy aging, ageism, long-term care, integrated care, but also age-friendly cities and communities and the Global Age-Friendly Network. And there are 1,700 members of that network. Age-friendly initiatives focus on where we live, how we live, our access, inclusion, and so on. So the synergies across all of those functions and perspectives are immense. And the other area which sits in this team that I'm situated in is the Commission on Social Isolation, which is all about gathering the evidence base and building social connections, reducing loneliness. So you can see the connections as I'm talking about what the potential is to really amplify these initiatives. And there are benefits and potential partners and connections all around. And we can weave this thread through where we live, how we connect, and aging, which promotes social cohesion, improves health outcomes, and enhances community resilience. So that's why we're here. We want to catalyse action, we want to spark change, and that's why we are so excited to be a part of this. We want to lift up and amplify these efforts and these connections. So let me turn from the vision to the practical now. And I want to draw your attention to, for those of you who are not familiar with it, to our Connecting Generations guide. This is a practical guide for those who are well versed in intergenerational practice, as well as those who are new to this work. And it includes principles of practice, the benefits that can be achieved. It helps to identify the risks and mitigation strategies, tips for planning intergenerational activities, and it has a real treasure trove of different intergenerational activities. I hope Xanthi can put the link to the guide in the chat. And that link will take you to the guide as well as lots of other resources of the global campaign. So I really do commend those to you. And I have no doubt that you'll find things that you can use in your context. And we hope that you will let your connections and your networks know about those resources and encourage them to join the campaign. So still on some concrete ideas, let me leave you with 4 ideas about how you can perhaps leverage our position in the world and our considerable networks as well. So let me leave you with these 4 ideas. First of all, if any of the country leads wish to involve the WHO in your activities, please get in touch, giving us a forum or the possibility to speak at events, particularly if they have, like this one here today, a regional focus or involve multiple countries. Secondly, we're very interested in your initiatives and we'd love to showcase your work. Please send us case studies for the Decade of Healthy Aging platform. Add to our calendar of events at A World for All Ages. Thirdly, of course, we're happy to respond to queries about resources, messaging, and so on. So please get in touch. And the last thing I'll leave you with is also a very practical idea. We'd like you to consider framing your work as a contribution to this global campaign. We have a supporters logo, and this can be seen to contributing to the things that member states are clearly valuing, as I said at the beginning of this presentation. Our supporters told us that there is value for them in connecting with this global initiative and that it flags an important connection and also encourages participation. So again, I hope Xanthi is able to put the link to the supporters logo in the chat, and I hope you will consider using the logo in your materials and in your comms. Having said all of that, the face of this work in every country, of course, remains you. But if you have multiple countries, a regional focus, we're happy to play a part also in boosting your efforts. So for instance, last year I was able to participate in a couple of webinars, one organised by the Australian Institute of Intergenerational Practice for the Asia Pacific region and one by Generations United in the US. And they're just examples of how we've been involved in addition to what I've been saying before. We're happy to support Global Intergenerational Week 2025 and will use the networking and comms channels of the global campaign and the broader WHO to amplify initiatives. So I'm really looking forward to working with you in the context of Global Intergenerational Week. Now, just before I go, I do want to let you know, and you may have already seen it, but I do want to draw your attention to some work that's being done by Intergenerational England. They have issued a call for evidence on intergenerational policies and programs, and the closing date for that is the 21st of February. And it would be terrific if you could submit your practices, because it's about creating a global repository, which I'm sure you'll agree will be very useful. So if you go to Intergenerational England's website, you'll find it there and click on research. So thanks again. And I, like many of you, are looking forward to Global Intergenerational Week, and I'm sure we will make some noise. So thank you and congratulations again on your work.
Thank you so much, Marlene, for sharing all that information. And there's that resource is an amazing one, I must say. I've read it many times from cover to cover, and every time I read it, I find new things that I go, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, definitely download and have a good read. Xanthi, can we go back to the slides, please? Okay, so I just thought I'd start with a little brief history about Generations Connect New Zealand. We were established, or I established it in November 2023, so we are very new. Our mission is really got three main prongs: to promote, create and support intergenerational connections with the communities. Global Intergenerational Week 2025 is really our first year as country leads. We did dabble with the support of Australian Institute of Intergenerational Practice last year, but as I said, we were very new, and it was more just sharing on social media that this event actually took place. But from a perspective of our mission, the three core parts are very important in the fact that promote is one of our first one. We want to showcase around the country in New Zealand how important intergenerational practice is, and actually what is already happening. I know of, and I keep finding every day, new initiatives of wonderful things that are already happening in our country. And I just think it needs to be shared on a more wider scale so that more people know about it and maybe can then invest in trying something themselves in their own organisations or in their own communities. The creating opportunities part of our mission is really not about starting something new. It's looking at how or what is already existing and resources that are happening with maybe one or two generations, and how we might be able to integrate another generation within that. We are very excited this year as we are running a pilot program in a primary school to look at how we can bring older adults in once a week to share experiences with children. And we're hoping that we will be able to create a model that will be able to be picked up and put into other schools around the country, showcasing how not only the benefits for both generations, but how using what is already there can achieve the same results without starting something new. So that's exciting. And then our last prong is really our support. We're here to support current initiatives that are already happening, and we're also to support new ones and to keep them up and running. A lot of times when I've investigated what's happening around the country, there are some extremely passionate people like myself in this space. However, unfortunately, when that person may move on from their organisation or something, programs do fall over. So we want to be the backstop. We want to be the place that you can reach out to for extra support if that happens, or to help organisations to put policies in place that supports those individuals, and also when they're replaced within their organisation to have those programs continue. So for this year, next slide please, Anthony. What's happening in New Zealand? So as I said, our main goal this year, as we are new to Global Intergenerational Week as a country lead, is really to showcase what is happening. I want to shout globally as well as nationally what wonderful initiatives we already have operating. So I possibly have already reached out to some of you, and if I haven't, I will be, just to be able to know what you're doing and how we can intertwine what you're currently doing with the daily themes. The good thing, as I said at the beginning, is we've been opened up now for the whole of April. So it's about looking at what you're already doing and how we can sort of tie it into one of the daily themes, which I'm sure we'll be able to do. And I'm more than happy to work with you on that, because it is really, I feel our this year it's about showcasing what's happening. And if you want to run a special event, that would be wonderful, but I know that's a lot to take on board. And so it's, I think, a good place to start is showcasing what's already happening. The week does have Anzac Day on the 25th of April. And so we are going to be working with a couple of brownies guides and RSAs in the local Auckland area where I'm based, to sort of, we know how Anzac Day has got more generations involved, especially young people, but we want to try and start that connection a little bit earlier than the actual day. So we're looking at bringing those two groups together for some events before the actual day, and then showcasing it on that 25th of April. So that's an exciting space to explore. We're also developing a New Zealand inspired activity guide, which we're hoping will be tailored a little bit more more to some New Zealand communities, and you'll be able to utilise, and that's hopefully we'll be able to share mid-March, end of March. That should be out to you. And lastly, we are going to be collaborating with Australia. We had a wonderful online dance YMCA event last year, and I think Xanthi's going to work her magic again, hopefully, that we can have another hopefully online dance event, which will be wonderful. So yeah, working with Australia on that, and also we aim to have another webinar like we did for the Asia Pacific region last year, on focusing on day 4's theme, which was let's create intergenerational spaces and communities. So not a lot for us in our first year, but a lot that we really are hoping to be able to achieve, in the sense that showcasing to the world what we are already doing, because there's some pretty amazing things happening in our country already. So yeah, it's an exciting space. So Xanthi, I think, is going to share what Australia's got planned.
Yes, thanks so much, Karen, and hi everyone. Thanks so much, Marlene, as well for joining us today, and thanks everybody for joining this webinar. It's really exciting to actually have this as our first launch event, I guess, in the Southern Hemisphere. The official launch event, which is run by Generations Working Together, will be happening later today, so we're ahead of the game. So there'll be 1 p.m. UK time, I think, their event. So, but yeah, so my name is Xanthi Golenko, and I'm the Secretary of the Australian Institute for Intergenerational Practice. So the Institute was actually founded in 2021 by Emeritus Professor Annika Fitzgerald, who I think is online with us today. Hi, Annika. And so the AIIP was basically set up to support individuals and organisations who wish to be involved in intergenerational practice. So we're really, I guess, a peak body in Australia, supporting people to get more involved in this incredible and powerful and important practice. We're a not-for-profit member-based organisation, so we have a range of different memberships for individuals and also organisations. So if you're interested in finding out more about AIIP, please jump onto our website. I think we have a link on the last slide. We also offer a range of professional development courses in intergenerational practice. So the courses are called Joining Old and Young, Joy. So we have Joy 1, which is an introductory course, and also Joy 2, which has been launched this year as well. We have a range of resources and events that are available to our members, and we have our AIIP conference. Actually, this is our big annual event, which is going to be on the 21st and 22nd of February 2025. So again, if you're interested in finding out more about that, please jump onto our website and have a look. So just very briefly, in terms of what events we've got happening in Australia, been doing a little bit of planning. So as Karen said, we are planning on running another little dance around the world event this year, choosing a song and working up the choreography. So there'll be definitely more information about that. It's an online event. We all jump on and all dance together with some choreography. It's suitable for all ages, and if you can't make the actual live streaming event, then you can do a recording and share it with us later, so that would be great. We are also working with Karen in New Zealand about events for Anzac Day, and as Karen said, like trying to get people more involved beforehand. So we'll be sending out some, activities sheets and some things that people can get involved with, bringing older and younger people together in shared activities around that. So we're also looking at some other activity sheets and information around social isolation and loneliness, and looking at doing some aging simulation activities. So that's always fun to get involved with as well. as Karen said, we are looking at organising another international webinar. So that will be in collaboration with Australia, New Zealand, Singapore and Hong Kong. If you are out there from another country and would like to be involved as well in this webinar, please reach out, because we love to showcase what's happening in all the different countries in this region. So please connect. We're really excited. On Monday the 28th, we're going to have a recording from Uncle Alan, who is going to be talking about the environment. And we are also organising some climate and environmental action events. So there'll be more information about that. We don't have any events planned yet for the last couple of days, but already we've got a pretty full schedule. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of an overview of what we're looking at doing at the moment. I'll hand back to Karen.
Okay, so how can you get involved? Well, you can connect with us, Anthea or myself, to learn more. This is only a quick intro. As I said, I'm happy to work with anyone who already has an intergenerational initiative happening anywhere, to see how that we can make it as stressless for you as possible to be involved, because I know people's lives are busy and sometimes it's very hard to do something new. But as I said, I'm quite good at working out how we can integrate stuff. So I'm more than happy to sit down with you and look at your program or what you've got running, and we can, work on that together as to how we can tie it into one or maybe even more than one day of the week. Also, you can register as a supporter on the Generations Working Together website. They have a supporters pack that they can send out to you that have some of the slide things you can share on social media. You can, as I said, if you'd love to host an intergenerational event around one of the daily themes, it doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be something to showcase the importance and how you get different generations together. Then again, if you need some support in that area, please reach out to us. And, when the week comes, it's really about sharing, as I said, showcasing and sharing your experiences on what you're already doing. And the way that we can tie it into the campaign is by, using that hashtag GIW25, and that helps Generations Working Together, who are the lead organisation, collate the impact that we're having on that global stage, which is really important. Next slide, Xanthi. And this is just some of the resources that we have used in the past, and these are for Generations Working Together from Scotland. They're fantastic. We did have a postcard sort of system last year where we had themes that we commented on it 4 weeks prior to the week. This time they're using it as a format to share, so sharing an image and some reflection on the event or the thing that you've been involved in, which is great if you could share it on social media and tag. And also they've got a little sort of a guide as well of some activities, and you'll find those once they've had their launch in our middle of the night. They should be live on their website. They're not quite live yet because they make them live after they've done their launch. So we'll have to have them when we wake up tomorrow. Hopefully they should be there. But yeah, so that's exciting. Next slide, please. And just really remember, our overarching theme is that we are looking at intergenerational practice being from just nice to essential. If you are involved in any shape or form with bringing generations together, those moments and you just go, it's magic. But there's much more than just the magic. There's such a growing information around how important it is from a community, society, individual benefit for this practice. So the more people we can raise awareness for how important it is, wherever that be, stakeholders be, I think, it will help our communities in the long run. So, it's an important thing to be saying that even though it's nice, it's also very essential that we create more opportunities for these different generations to come together in different ways. Next slide, please. All right, that is the end of our presentation, but we are here to answer any questions that you may or may not have. I'm not sure if any were put in the chat, but if you've got any, please feel free to put them in now. Xanthi, is this control off for the videos, or are they, can you, in case people want to talk, have you got a master control for that?
That's a very good question. I was actually going to ask if people can turn their cameras on. I'm not sure if you've got this option, so we can even do a bit of a screenshot of everyone in the meeting.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can
I don't
people
know whether
join
it's
their...
like it might be like a setting in your main dashboard that you've got it off for everybody. They may not be able to.
Okay, all right. What I might do is tinker with that.
Yeah, was there any questions that
Do you
came
want
through?
to
I
jump
didn't
into
really
the
look.
chats? Yeah, I'm just having a look.
Yeah, I
At the
don't think
questions.
Yeah, they
Oh, I
can't. That
can't
must be.
control.
Yeah, so I think you've got a main switch up in your dashboard that should say about being able to allow it for everybody, if you can
All
find it.
right. Okay. Do you want to have a quick look
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
just having a
chat?
quick look to see if there's anything that's anyone's already asked. Please feel free, because you can't ask me in person, but if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. Is there a specific song for the dance that all should use? There will be. Glad you're enthused. Yes, last year it was YMCA, which was fantastic. This year it's yet to be decided. So as soon as we have that, and Xanthi's very good. She does a demo and everything. So all you'll need to do is take the video and practice. So yeah, watch this space. We'll hopefully get to that to you soon. The slide deck, yeah, we will have the video recording of this and the slide deck available probably on our websites, both AIIP and Generations Connect. So you'll be able to find those there. Thank you, Annika, for answering about Uncle Alan. I'm not sure if there's anyone from Age Concern New Zealand. So if there is, could you put that in the chat if you haven't already? Where else are we? Fantastic. Yeah. And I think, Michelle, yeah, it's great that, we connect within each other as well. I think there's a lot of learning to happen within that. If you've got, questions, or there's a program that you've heard about and you'd like to learn more, I think that's a great way to get things started in different ways. Yeah. And Annika's put things there if you need to as well. I think that's all the questions. Anything, did you find anything there, Xanthi, or are you still trying to no control? That's all right. So if there's no other questions, do you want to just put the last slide up and then we can finish off?
Oh.
All right, so just massive thank you to everyone who spent their afternoon or to spend the half an hour or so with us to learn more about Global Intergenerational Week. A special thanks to Marlene for being able to share that information, and we look forward to hopefully maybe getting you back for our webinar on day 4, hopefully if you're free, mark on your calendar. But yeah, on behalf of Xanthi and myself, if you really need any further information or want to learn more or discuss or need support, please reach out to us at these addresses. And as I said, this recording and the slides we'll share on our website, so you should be able to find out more from that. And always remember to follow us on social media, because we'll post different things at different times until we get to April, as information comes to hand. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you for Global Intergenerational Week. Thank you.